Rosamond spread the all-important document out on the table with trembling hands, looked it over eagerly for a few moments, and laid her finger on the square that represented the position of the Myrtle Room.
"Here it is,"
she cried.
"Oh, Lenny, how my heart beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th door on the first-floor landing is the door of the Myrtle Room."
She would have called at once for the keys of the north rooms, but her husband insisted on her waiting until she had composed herself a little, and until she had taken some breakfast. In spite of all he could say, the meal was hurried over so rapidly that in 10 minutes more his wife's arm was in his, and she was leading him to the staircase. Rosamond took the keys, declined the housekeeper's offer to accompany her, and, leading her husband along the passages, unlocked the door of the North Hall.
"How unnaturally cool it is in here,"
she said as they entered the deserted place. At the foot of the stairs she stopped and took a firmer hold of her husband's arm.
"Is anything the matter?"
asked Leonard.
"Is the change to the damp coolness of this place affecting you in any way?"
No,
she answered hastily.
"I am far too excited to feel either heat or damp, as I might feel them at other times. But Lenny, supposing your guess about Mrs. Jacef is right."
"Yes?"
"And, supposing we discover the secret of the Myrtle Room, might it not turn out to be something concerning my father or my mother, which we ought not to know? I thought of that when Mrs. Pentreath offered to accompany us, and it determined me to come here alone with you."
"It is just as likely that the secret might be something we ought to know,"
replied Mr. Frankland after a moment's thought.
"In any case, my idea about Mrs. Jacef is, after all, only a guess in the dark. However, Rosamond, if you feel any hesitation—"
"No, come what may of it, Lenny, we can't go back now. Give me your hand again. We have traced the mystery thus far together, and together we will find it out."
She ascended the staircase, leading him after her as she spoke. On the landing, she looked again at the plan, and satisfied herself that the first impression she had derived from it, of the position of the Myrtle Room, was correct. She counted the doors on to the 4th, and looked out from the bunch the key numbered 4, and put it in the lock. Before she turned it, she paused, and looked round at her husband. He was standing by her side, with his patient face turned expectantly toward the door. She put her right hand on the key, turned it slowly in the lock, drew him closer to her with her left hand, and paused again.
"I don't know what has come to me,"
she whispered faintly.
"I feel as if I was afraid to push open the door."
"Your hand is cold, Rosamond. Wait a little. Lock the door again. Put it off till another day."
He felt his wife's fingers close tighter and tighter on his hand while he said those words. Then there was an instant, one memorable, breathless instant, never to be forgotten afterward, of utter silence. Then he heard the sharp, cracking sound of the opening door, and felt himself drawn forward suddenly into a changed atmosphere, and knew that Rosamond and he were in the Myrtle Room.